Hello, folks. I am Margie Roy of 3dcuts.com, and today I am doing the tutorial for my Great Horned Owl Shadow Box. This shadow box is part of a 4 shadow box series, each featuring a different owl that is native to my state of Connecticut. These owls are designed to be easily crafted in cardstock. There is a separate tutorial for the assembly of each owl shadow box. Let's get started on the Great Horned Owl Shadow Box. First, start by cutting out all of the pieces for this project. If you check out my website online at 3dcuts.com, you will see I have a tutorial there with hints on cutting out these pieces, which papers to use, and how to get the intricate cuts. There's also some sizing information there, so be sure to check out that resource. All of the shadow boxes start with the same frame. There are 3 pieces, 1, 2, and 3. We are going to start by folding on the dotted fold lines on all of them in the same direction. I'm going to hold this together with score tape. I like using score tape because it keeps my fingers clean. And on each of these corners, I am going to put 2 pieces of score tape. All 4 corners now have the score tape. I will peel the score tape and put together each corner. It's important that you keep these square. The cover is set. Now I'll work on frame 2. Again, I fold on all the score lines. Apply score tape to each corner. And put together squarely. Frame 2 is done. Frame 3, same procedure. Score tape is applied to the corners. I'll now peel it and assemble the back frame. Okay, all 3 frames are now done. I'm going to continue working on frame 2. On frame 2, the green leaf insert will get applied. But first, I need to add all of the parts of the owl before I do that. This one still has a few things that didn't come out. I'll pick those out. I have provided in the online tutorial some guidelines as to the order that the different pieces go on. I'm going to refer to that as I put this together. I have also cut the pieces and I've stuck them to an old cutting mat to keep them in place. You will notice that I cut out doubles on the tiny pieces. That's because I always lose those and I hate having to go back and get new ones as I'm putting these together. So I do those in duplicate just so I have one to lose. So we'll put those there. I've got the front side up. First part is the back of the owl and it gets applied there. I am going to be using art glitter glue. I've transferred it to this little bottle that controls the amount that goes out. Next layer is the body. I will just build up each of the layers here as shown in the diagram available on my website. I continue adding the pieces using this paper as my guide. Starting to look like an owl now. There, I've got my owl on its branch. On some of these broad-leafed files where there is a good bit of the leaf showing, I like to draw some of the veins of the leaves in to add just a little more detail. I work on a soft paper pad. I use the tail end of my silhouette tool. I hold the stems carefully and I just emboss some of the basic veins that would be part of that leaf right into the paper. It's subtle and it's not really required, but I like it. There. I forgot to add the front talon here. That should go on, and I'm going to add it here, even though my layer number 2 is done. There we go. A little forgetful, but complete in the end. I also like to add just a tiny highlight to the eyes of any creature that I create. I do this with just a little bit of acrylic paint. I take the tail end of a cheap paintbrush, I dump it in there, I test the size of the dot, and I make a very, very tiny dot in each eye. Bingo. Bingo. A little bigger. Bingo. Always important to add the highlights. Now I think I have actually finished all of the parts of this owl and can go on to putting it into the shadow box. Back to the video from before I forgot those 2 important steps. I'm going to take layer 2 right here. This will get glued face down inside. The green is a little bit smaller than the black, and you should see a black margin all the way around once it's correctly placed. I'm going to take that out of there and apply glue to the inside of the black frame. Get my placement so none of the green will show through on the edges to the front side. There, that looks good. Press it in place. That's layer 2. Now on each of the layer 2s, on the back side of the bird, I like to put some support so it doesn't cave in. I use weather stripping, which I buy online. You can use pop dots, you just need to take more of them. And I put a layer right here. Now the stickum on this is not particularly permanent, so I will put a little glue on to reinforce it. I find that 2 layers of this stuff is about the right support. Yeah. You want it to be about the same level as this here, so if you're stacking up pop dots, you'll need more than 2 layers, but there. That just provides support to this very heavy bird inside the frame. I think it's needed over time. See. On each of the frames, inside layer 3 goes the navy blue sky. I cut a piece of paper that is 6 5/16 square, and I use a paper hole punch to make that hole. I find that quicker than doing this on my cutting machine, but that's your choice. That'll get glued in there. The moon is going to get glued in place here, and its location can vary depending on each of the birds and where they are located. I like the moon to be placed so that the owl's head is outlined. I'm going to take a pencil and mark that moon. I'm going to take this out. I'm then going to take the moon, add some glue, find my marks, glue it in place. Now I will add my owl layer, layer number 2. I could at this point put score tape in here and stick this in to make it permanent. I will put the cover on it here. And again, on this one, I could turn it over and put score tape in here to also make it permanent. There is a little hole at the top. You can put a nail on the wall and hang this. The Great Horned Owl shadow box is now complete. I'm going to go on and make some of the others. I'd love to see photos of your completed shadow boxes, so please share by sending me an email at margie@3dcuts.com or on any of the various Facebook craft groups. You can check out the nature-themed shadow box area of my website for many other interesting shadow box cardstock projects. Happy crafting, everyone, and thank you for watching.